the film I made in Venezuela, which is very relevant right now. We made a film called Tupamaros, Urban Guerrillas, and we're telling people this is the time that you guys need to get some historical context if you're confused at all about what's going on there. And I recommend people watch the film.
By the way, I just want to say that I haven't seen the movie yet, and I'm looking forward to seeing it because it's really important, because what they're doing is they're pointing out these particular groups, these guerrillas that are there, that are really taking up arms to protect their own nation and trying to twist them. And this is what happened with Glenn Beck, to make them look like terrorists. So they're taking the term guerrilla and making it terrorist. And by doing so and changing the language, that therefore justifies any actions by the United States and the West, along with its allies, Israel, France, Germany, Great Britain, to do whatever they want to do in these countries. It gives them carte blanche in a way. That's what we have to do. We have to push back against this narrative. And I think that your video will kind of point out what these guerrillas actually are all about and how they exist inside their country, right? You know what I'm saying? Most of these people, remember when they had the argument between terrorists and freedom fighters? You know what I'm saying? I think that that's what you'll get here right now. You'll have that in Latin America, where you'll have certain people who are looking for their confirmation bias, who are going to play team sports and back Donald Trump no matter what, especially in this craziness here. And some of the comments I got underneath that, like I got 5 comments. And once again, people pushing, no, they're kind of agreeing with Matt Gaetz and their arguments and stuff like that. No, we have no business getting involved. They're twisting the term guerrilla or freedom fighter into being a terrorist so they can justify another regime change, another intervention again. And we need to be completely against that. So I think that your film is going to hit hard and going to get a sense of what is actually going on in a lot of these countries like Venezuela when it comes to these guerrillas.
So I'm going to pull the trailer up right now. So you guys,
please, let's do it. I'd love to watch it.
We're going to play the trailer. And
awesome.
What we focus on now, look, we did it. I'm going to tell you, because we spent a long time putting this film together. And the idea was, and the director, Martin Markovitz, wanted to go in not as a filmmaker first, but as a journalist first, filmmaker second, and try and get all the sides and not do a Michael Moore spin of we're going to come in with an opinion going in.
Sure.
And I don't even want to say spin. It's not about spin. It's that you want to be careful about having a very solid an opinion about something before you go and investigate it. You want to go look at all the sides and then let your movie decide where you're going. And at the end of the day, we did get a very equal approach to both sides. We get to see some of the corruption within the collectivos and the Tupamaros, and we saw the hypocrisy of being these family men. One guy in particular, his name is Chino, and following him around, a family man who goes around and murders people and tells us on camera that he murders people, but he has family values. So there's stuff there, but also the macro element of it is that the entire civilization is responding to American imperialism. That's what it's responding to. The desperateness of these massive sanctions and these coup after coup attempts trying on their people. And so you have these revolutionary faction groups that rise up to just basically be a team of Batman. They run around in guns and masks. And this is before masks were fashionable. Now it's not. But it used to be very scary when people would have masks on riding around.
Matt,
but here we go.
Is it safe to say, though, that we are the terrorists, the United States imperialists?
Yeah.
Isn't it safe to say that? Yet we use this term on somebody else. And that's why this American exceptionalism, especially from the right now, is just nauseating at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we're the good ones. We're coming in there and we're fucking spreading human decency, right? You know, it's just, it's nauseating at this point. We're the terrorists. We're the thieves. We're the colonizers. We're the ones who, perpetrate the genocide. It's us. We need to change our military industrial complex and our imperialist behavior. We needed to rein in the whole deep state and the CIA, which something Donald Trump was supposed to be against. Now he's completely for, and he's working for them.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, here we go. Here's a trailer, and look at it's going to go quick. This thing goes really fast. Ed Asner, before he passed away, he helped. He was a good friend, actually, dear friend. We had him. He did a voiceover for the narration. We know he was a big advocate for civil rights, advocate for election integrity. I don't know, Craig, you never had a chance to meet Ed. When he would go down to El Salvador, he'd go down, he would represent fair elections and in his time. And but he passed away a few years ago, but he did the narration for us when we put the trailer out. Also, look, if you can notice, our friend, I say friend, Maria Coronavirus
Machado
makes a little appearance in the trailer very briefly. So look out for her. And here we go. Here's Tupamaros, Urban Guerrillas. Here we go on Prime.
Guerrillas.
Demonstrations against soaring crime rates are growing in Caracas.
Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, yet just last month had to devalue its currency, dropping 5 zeros from the bolivar.
They say that the police here are corrupt. Instead, they have armed groups who maintain security in this area.
¿Cuál es la misión de los Tupamaros?
Desarrollar la lucha por la liberación de los pueblos en cualquiera de los terrenos donde se nos plantee.
Esta es la primera vez que muestra su rostro a una cámara de televisión.
Son como un Robin Hood.
Alguien que vende droga, que destruye vida de niños, de ancianos, de jóvenes, no tiene derecho a la vida. Bam, bam.
The fact that Chino can still claim that he assassinates people speaks really to Venezuela's judicial system.
Son bandas criminales que tienen armas de guerra.
Bam, bam.
Que los hombres inmortales como Chávez nunca mueren.
No, yo no voy para el cielo, yo voy para allá abajo, para las 500 palitas del infierno.
Me up. Sign me up, Matt. Wow. Woo.
There it is.
Woo. That's my friend, Matt Weinglass, right there. My friend.
Man. You know,
my homeboy.
And I'll mention this. Another reason why we had to be really careful on the balancing act of this thing is that if you go too far one side, you have the other side coming after you big time.
Yeah.
And so that we had to stay right in the middle on some stuff and just let the camera roll and let it just happen without any and we had to make some cuts too. The film, we actually had to cut out. We had people being murdered on camera. We couldn't have it in the movie. So we have that. We were there. It's pretty scary, man. Really, really scary shit.
Yeah.
But
Venezuela is an interesting country. You know that. It's not like Cuba. I don't know if you ever been to Cuba. I haven't been to Venezuela yet. I've been to Cuba. The bourgeoisie in Cuba was thrown out. The rich had to leave. They had to get on a boat and get the hell out of there, whatnot. The opposition still exists in Venezuela. Maria Coronavirus Machado was making those statements from inside Venezuela. Juan Guaido went back to Venezuela, lived in Venezuela for a while before he couldn't anymore because the citizens were like, enough is enough. And Tori Shuroff had a restaurant. They were so crazy. But the bourgeoisie exists in Caracas. The opposition still lives there. They weren't thrown out. So it's a different mixture over there. So I understand just going down the middle and letting the cameras play out the way they are. It's a different nation. It's a different country. It's very confusing, right? It's not black and white. It's very gray. But at the end of the day, I think that this whole thing that we try to go in there acting like we're pushing for human rights and human decency and helping the people itself, the citizens who are under this authoritarian control, is nothing but more than a bunch of fucking hot air and bullshit. We want the oil. We want the resources. We want to make sure that any type of resistance towards the West, and that's what Nicolas Maduro represent. He's a Chavista. If you go into Nicaragua, there are Chavez monuments and statues all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They look at him as one of the leaders of the Bolivarian revolution in the modern day before he passed away. He means a lot to them. He means a breaking of the chains from the West. And, he wants, he reminds me most of the attitude of Donald Trump. I don't know if you saw this once before, but he went on national TV and he fired a bunch of oil people in the oil industry that used to be loyal and work with the West. He fired them on TV. You're dismissed. You're no longer needed. He was very, charismatic and whatnot. But
you want to know something?
This is about resource extraction and making sure China doesn't get in there. Once again, there's so many things at play. It's not about human rights. It's not about human decency. It's not about pushing back an authoritarian leader. We don't care about that. This is about resource extraction, control, and pushing China out of that hemisphere.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And some other stuff he said out loud. I don't think the American media even reported on this at all. A lot of people don't know this, but on Chavez's deathbed, Maduro, who took the crown from there and was given took
the reins.
Yeah. So he said right there out loud that Chavez was killed was poisoned by the CIA. That was Maduro's assessment.
Yeah.
Nothing was followed up on. There's no follow up on it, but that's what he said out loud publicly, that he believed that Maduro. So we were told, that Chavez had cancer and died very quickly. He had a rapid cancer. And this is pre-COVID, so I don't know, but not that
they kidnapped him at one point and they had to release him. The U.S. had to release him within 2 days. I remember it was on April 14th. They had to release him. It was my birthday because the people just had so much of an uprising. They said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? That they pretty much said you had to return him. So it doesn't surprise me. The CIA tried to kill Nicolas Maduro with a drone strike at a rally a couple of years ago. It doesn't surprise me. They tried to kill Castro all the time. They've been doing this for quite some time. And Donald Trump is more like the mafioso president where he likes to whack individuals. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they did poison him. But it was very clear that Hugo Chavez wanted Nicolas Maduro to carry on with his legacy and take control. Nicolas Maduro comes from poverty. He was a bus driver, for crying out loud. And what he's faced, I think that not enough people recognize the job that he's done under an extreme blockade, harsh sanctions, a stranglehold. And he's been able to persevere. Now, what a lot of people are doing, when we talked about that Glenn Beck interview with this other guy, this other donkey he has over, this producer, who's pretty much saying like groups like the Tupamaros and all these other guerrillas are terrorists that work for Nicolas Maduro and that they're training Iranian troops over there. I mean, this is crazy. They do share, strategic military alliances with Iran, with Russia, with China, of course, whatnot. They are helping them. That's the alliance and stuff like that. But Iran was a big part of actually helping feed Venezuelans by opening up these supermarkets and importing a lot of foods and goods over there while they had the biggest stranglehold on them ever. So it was more than a military alliance. It was a humanitarian alliance. And that's what's being twisted right now, because you say Iran, the majority of Americans think that these are the evil, once again, the evildoers again, going in and working with Venezuela. Remember we showed, I think, the trailer, Jack Ryan, what's his name? Krasinski? Is it Jeff
John
Krasinski?
Krasinski.
John Krasinski. Once again, this whole Venezuela and Russia working together to have a bomb that they're going to smuggle into the United States and kill Americans. These are the evil dictators working together. They're planting that throughout the CIA and our movies and whatnot. And they've been doing this to Russia for years. So let's hold our breath and see what's going to happen right down. But it seems like that Venezuela is on the list for, if Wesley Clark had the extended list of what's going to go on in Latin America. And let's not forget, Israel has a lot of contracts, military contracts, like they do in El Salvador with a lot of these countries. They want to get a piece of the pie too as well. They're part of this whole colonization and regime change operations over there. And we can't forget about that either. Yeah. They're tied at the hip.
Yeah. Well, look, Maduro has had some big shoes to fill, and he certainly filled them, and well beyond, I think, people's expectations, because, Chavez is Chavez, and they're still Chavistas. I mean, that's who they are. But you see the look in his eye when Chavez, and we had that shot in the trailer where he's sitting right next to him, and he's got that look of almost like, oh shit, I'm the next guy up. I don't know if I can handle. He has got that look almost like he's uncertain. Now look at him now. This is him now. This is him getting ready. Look at this right now. This is the guy that took. So when Jesse Waters goes on Fox and tells his audience that this phone call, and he's just making this up, just telling his audience that Maduro was begging Trump on the phone call, could you let me get out? What if I started having free elections? What if what can I do to you? What can I do for you, man, to help? Let me just be safe. And Trump says back to Maduro, no, man, you had your chance. Sorry, that's it. We're coming in there. That's what Jesse Waters is telling his audience. This isn't a guy that's pleading for a deal. This isn't a guy that wants to have, get me and my family out and just kill everyone else. This is a guy who filled some big shoes, and now he's here and he's fighting to the death. And these Chavistas he's surrounding with, I don't think people fully understand the level of commitment and giving everybody out these weapons, and they're ready to go. They're not going to stop. I don't know how this is going to end, but I can tell you these people are no one in Venezuela is going to be asking for a deal. Yeah. They're going all in, all the way. That's it.
And if you look recently for him, for some of his what should I say, in the streets of Caracas and whatnot, all these gatherings, all these events he has, whatnot, hundreds of thousands of people go out to the streets. Once again, the majority of people in this country, and there is a lot of oppositional pushback against Maduro. It's only going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. When you have these sanctions on the country for so long, I would say a lot of the people in Venezuela are more propagandized than Americans themselves, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they see the harsh conditions in front of them, and you have this mass amount of money of propaganda pushing back, saying it's your own government doing this to you. That's going to stick. It sticks in Honduras. It sticks in Peru. It sticks in all these other countries. But the majority of people support a lot of these leaders, like they support Nicolas Maduro, because he's put himself on the side of the poor, right? And he's pushed for the national sovereignty, saying we want to make decisions what happen in our countries, not the West. And the people know that. That's why they were able to have those revolutions in Cuba. They were able to have those revolutions in Venezuela, and the Chavistas took over Hugo Chavez, because they understand what the West is doing. The West is there to rape and pillage, right? Some people will buy into it because they'll benefit from it, but the majority of the people will say, no, we have a constitution that says we make decisions what's best for our country, not you. And no matter how many Jesse Waters, Glenn Becks, Sean Hannity's are out there that tell these lies, when people out there who know what's going on tell the truth, they'll push back against their lies. That's why they don't have us on or around them, because they can tell their lies with their allies there backing up their bullshit, their propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Matt Gaetz didn't respond back to Fee after she went back after him. He didn't respond back to me because he won't have the answers. He's never been to Honduras. He doesn't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We've been there. We've shook Manuel Zelaya's hands. We've asked hard questions of Manuel Zelaya. We've asked hard questions to Xiomara Castro. It doesn't stop us. We will always ask hard questions. We understand what's going on. We understand the terrain. We understand the people because we've done the work. These people are parroting CIA talking points. And unfortunately, the confirmation bias of the people on the West, they want to go along with it simply because their team and Donald Trump are saying it. That's a big issue we have. We have to continue to fight it. But I'm glad that your movie's out there right now, because I think it will provide some perspective about what's going on. They're guerrillas. They're not terrorists. It's a big difference.
Tupamaros, Urban Guerrillas on Prime, guys. Go check it out. If you have Prime already, you're already paying for it, then I guess you can watch it for free. But yeah, don't go buying a subscription just for this film. Not worth it, guys. Not worth it. But yeah, check it out, guys.